how has the basic income proposal developed in the world? So we have here now 19th Young Congresses. Please say a word about what happened during these years.
We actually established our group in 1986.
1986.
And this, as you say, is the 19th International Conference. And I have seen us grow from a group of intellectuals and thinkers, economists, philosophers, and sociologists to becoming a worldwide network of activists, young people, people in different political parties, and in academic positions, politicians. And a remarkable thing about this Congress that we've just had is that people came from 45 countries. 45 countries from all over the world. And what I'm being really encouraged by this Congress is how many young people now are engaged and are joining the movement to promote basic income.
Here in India, and thanks to your cooperation, supervision, a pilot experience of the basic income was, occurred. And I would appreciate if you may tell us which were the results of the Madhya Pradesh state experience of a basic income, please.
Well, I first proposed that we should do pilot basic income experiments in India in 2008. And to start with, there was a lot of skepticism. But we did 3 pilots in Delhi, where we covered 450 families, where we gave them a choice whether they would continue with the rations and the existing welfare schemes or have a basic income of similar value. And the main thing we found there was that gradually more and more people preferred to have the basic income. And they preferred it because it gave them freedom to make decisions for themselves. The second pilot was in Madhya Pradesh, where we gave a basic income to 6,000 men, women, and children in 8 villages. 4 villages, they had a basic income with access to SEWA, the Self-Employed Women's Association, to give advice to people. Other 4 villages, there was no SEWA. And we had a controlled trial in which we compared what happened over 18 months in those 8 villages with 12 other villages where there was no basic income, right? And what we found was very, very strong statistical evidence of improvements in nutrition, improvements in health, particularly health of children, babies, improvements in sanitation, improvements in economic activity, particularly improvements in school attendance by the children, and really good improvements in the attendance of teenage girls in schools. And then we also found that it improved the status and sense of freedom of women. And
Especially women.
Especially women, yes.
What were the affinities of the results of the Kenyan experience and the Madhya Pradesh experience?
Well, I was really impressed that we had representatives of not only Kenya and Madhya Pradesh, but also from Ontario, Canada. And we had a sense that they all were experiencing the same positive effects. And we've seen that in other pilots. We've seen in pilots in North Carolina. We've seen pilots taking place in Stockton, California. We've seen pilots having, and in Finland. Yes. We've seen the same sort of positive results. And really those who are going to be continuously critical really now have to face the facts. And the facts are that wherever we have seen experiments with basic income, there have been positive outcomes.
Guy Stanning, you have just published this Plunder of the Commons, a manifesto for sharing of public wealth. And in this Congress you have showed awareness about one special commons, that is the Amazon forest. Please tell us why did you mention here in our Congress the example of the Amazon forest as an important commons that you have been studying, please.
This is the most serious issue in the world at the moment. It's one of the most serious threats to humanity. It's a threat to nature. It's a threat to the capacity of the earth to survive. Because if you disrupt and destroy the Amazon, realize what is happening. The Amazon is responsible for 20% of the world's oxygen. It absorbs the carbon dioxide and helps replenish the air. If you destroy the Amazon, it is not just a Brazilian issue. It is not just a political issue. It is a global issue. Because if Brazil does it and somewhere else does something similar, we are very soon going to have a catastrophic inability for people to survive.
Yes.
And the health, the cancers that are going to be spreading because there's no way in which the carbon dioxide and greenhouse gas emissions are being dealt with. It is so fundamental that anybody who allows these things to continue one day extra is being almost criminal, because you are condemning millions, not thousands or hundreds of people, to probably having life-threatening illnesses. And it's going to affect people in Sao Paulo just as much as people in London. It's going to affect people in Hyderabad. It's affecting the whole world. And if we don't take a global perspective, then we are being totally irresponsible. I'm sorry to say, your president said to the world, mind your own business. It is our business. It is the business of all of us as human beings, men, women and children, and particularly for the children.
Sure.
People of our age, okay, we are going to suffer a little, but then the next generation and the children, your grandchildren, every Brazilian's grandchild is being affected by those unstopped fires. It is that serious. But what I'm arguing in the book is that the commons is being taken by international capitalism, by privatization, by commodification, by greedy people who are taking rental income without any sense of responsibility for the future of humanity. And I am arguing that in effect we should create commons funds where we take levies, taxes from people who are using our commons, build up commons capital funds, and then paying out basic income as common dividends. That is the argument of the book. And in a sense, what's happening in the Amazon, what Donald Trump is doing, selling off 3.5 million acres of monument land, what the Poles are doing, destroying their forests, all of these things are eating away at our commons. And they have the same effect. It's 11 o'clock and we have an hour to do something, and the clock is ticking.
And the universal basic income unconditionally will start to be a way of utopia.
I believe that within the next 5 years, at least one major country will have introduced it. And within 10 years, I believe that it will be, the situation will be this, that millions of people will say, why didn't we have a basic income before? And it will be seen as a realistic way of a new income distribution system for the 21st century. It's taken too long, but I really believe now there is no alternative.
Thank you very much.